Hey guys, Chris Fix here. Today I'm going to show you how to install a hydraulic e-brake in your car. This is a hydraulic e-brake, also known as a hydro e-brake or just a hydro, and it's used for drifting. When you pull the hydraulic e-brake, it's essentially like pressing a normal foot brake in your car, but you're only braking with the rear wheels, which helps you control your drifts. You could also use the stock e-brake to do this, which is what I've been working with, but it isn't as strong as a hydraulic e-brake, and it's already stretched the cable just from 2 drift events. Plus, when you're using the stock e-brake, you need to make sure that you press this button. Otherwise, this thing could get stuck in the up position, which wouldn't be good. The other thing is the stock e-brake isn't meant to be yanked all the time like this. That could cause the cable to stretch out or even snap. So today I'm going to show you everything that you need to know on how to install a hydraulic e-brake. And once we get the e-brake in, then we could get our racing seats in, which will be the next video, but one thing at a time. So let's first install the hydro. So here are all the tools and the products that you'll need for this job, and I'll be sure to link everything in the description so you could easily find it. I'm using an ASD Hydro e-brake. This is one of the best quality e-brakes on the market. Has a nice long handle to grab onto and gives you plenty of leverage. And this e-brake has a reservoir because I'm running a dual caliper setup. And besides the e-brake, you're also going to need some brake line. I have some stainless steel braided brake line. And using flexible stainless steel brake hose is going to make it really easy to go from the hydro to the brake caliper. You're also going to need a couple of fittings. In this case, I have a T-fitting. Everything is -3AN fittings to make it simple. And then we have a -3AN fitting to the stock caliper fitting. And you'll need some crush washers to complete the brake install. And then to make our mount, you have 2 options. If you have a welder, you could weld everything together, makes it really easy. I'd actually prefer to do this, but I know not everybody has a welder, so I'm gonna be making this completely bolt-in, no welder required. So then after watching this video, you'll be able to install your very own hydro e-brake. So the first thing we need to do is figure out where we're gonna mount the hydro e-brake. And your biggest restriction is gonna be space. You don't want it to get in the way of your shifter, and I'm keeping my stock e-brake so that I'll have a parking brake because the hydro e-brake doesn't work as a parking brake. It doesn't lock. So I'm gonna wanna have my e-brake somewhere in between the steering wheel and the shifter. That way I could go from the steering wheel right to the hydro. The only problem is, when we put it in first gear, you can see there's not a lot of room here, and then in second gear, there's also not a lot of room. So we're gonna have to keep that in mind for when we figure out where we wanna mount this. And this area right over here looks pretty good. And our hydro is gonna end up sitting right on top of this cup holder area. And lucky for us, this cup holder just pops right out. And with the cup holder removed, you can see we have a nice area to mount our hydro. And I'm thinking the hydro is gonna go right around here. And that's looking actually really good. I'm liking that spot a lot. Plenty of room for first gear and second gear. Go from steering wheel to hydro. Perfect. That is exactly where I wanna mount it. Now, if you're not sure where you wanna mount your hydro, just go to a drift event. Walk around and check out other people's cars. I spent about 15 minutes just looking into cars and talking with different owners. And without even asking, some of the owners said, hey, go sit in my car, go test it out. Not only was this very helpful, but it'll give you plenty of ideas on where you want to install your hydro. So after you figure out where you want to mount your hydro, now we have the challenge of figuring out where we're going to run our brake line, which has to come out here, and then we're going to have to run it somewhere back here, and then it's going to have to go all the way to this brake caliper on this side, and the same thing with the other brake caliper on the other side. Now I have an idea. I want to see if it's going to work, so we're going to open this up. We have 2 hidden screws, one under here and one under here. We got to unscrew those, and with those unscrewed, the center console storage bucket comes right out. So what I'm thinking is we run the brake hose up, and then we'll route it across back here all the way to the back of the center console, and we'll have a nice pass through with the grommet right back here. Then the brake line is going to come out here. From here we could tee the brake line off, one to one caliper, one to the other caliper, and we're going to either have to drill a hole on each side, or maybe there might be some stock pass-throughs. Only one way to find out. Let's go and remove this rear seat. And to remove the back seat is pretty simple. Right under here, you just pull the seat back, and then you press this little clip right here, and it pops right up. There's one clip on each side, so do the other side as well and remove the seat. And then hopefully we have some good news underneath this insulation. Beautiful. I think this is going to go through. Pull up the grommet. All right, I see daylight from the other side. I actually see the e-brake cable. That is perfect. Now I'm just hoping there's one on the other side. We'll find out. Yes, beautiful. And that goes through as well, and you can see the e-brake cable. Perfect. So we need to figure out now how much brake line we're actually gonna need, and to do that, there's a little trick. Use a piece of rope, and we're gonna run the rope exactly how we're gonna run the brake line, so we know exactly how much brake line we need to order. So starting from the hydro, we're gonna go up through the boot for the e-brake, come around behind this metal bracket, and then we're gonna go out right at the bottom of the center console, and this will be routed nice and neat up to about this black line right here. So let's go measure to this black tape. Let's see what we got. We have just about 4 feet. Now we need to go from the middle to each caliper. And right at the middle here, just to give you an idea, we're gonna have this T adapter. So we have our brake line coming in from the hydro right here, and then we have our 2 brake lines going out, 1 to each caliper. So we'll start from the middle and run our line right to the hole in the chassis. And that hole comes out right over here. And we're gonna have it come up behind here, and it's gonna come to our brake caliper right about here. So I'm gonna mark it off with some tape, and let's go get a measurement. So let's check out, see how much brake line we're gonna need. And it looks like we're gonna need just a little bit over 3 feet of brake line. Since brake line comes in 1 foot increments, I'm gonna go with 3 feet for this last amount. And just as an overview, I drew a diagram. So we have our e-brake, we have our 4 foot stretch near the center console that goes to our T adapter, and then we have 2 3-foot stretches to our rear brakes. Now that we have this information, we could order our brake lines, and we could go inside the car so that we could remove the center console and make our mount for the hydro. Removing the center console is simple. First, unscrew the shift knob. Next, the shifter boot pops right off, and then disconnect the wires from the cigarette lighter. Then there's 2 T20 Torx screws that need to be removed. 1 here and 1 here. Good. And that's everything we need to remove from the front of the console. So let's move to the back. And in the console, there are 2 screws which need to be removed. Now pull the parking brake as high as it could go and move the shifter back. Then we could just lift the console out. And I was wondering why it wasn't coming out. I forgot to disconnect the wiring harness. Just pop that off. Good. And now the console comes right out. All right, the center console is removed. I'm gonna lower the e-brake because this was pulled up pretty high. We don't want to stretch out that cable. But here's what we have to work with. Looks like we have 2 bolts back here, a bolt here, a hole over here. If we move forward, I wonder if there's anything under here. No, it looks like just bare metal. We could always drill through that. I don't think we're gonna have to. And then we have 2 bolts up here. There's plenty of points that we could secure our hydro mount. So now we just need to come up with a little template. I'm gonna make it out of cardboard. And the nice thing about cardboard is it's inexpensive and easy to get. I cut this off of a box I had laying around, and I cut 2 pieces. So if you mess up, you could always just get another piece. It's a good idea to get your steel as well. I got a 3-inch wide piece of steel. It's 3/16 inches thick, which is plenty thick. This thing is not gonna bend at all, especially when you're pulling on that e-brake. So to start, I'm gonna cut this piece of cardboard so it's the exact same width as our metal. We could actually just move the metal out of the way and work with our cardboard. So I'm gonna have to make a cut right about here. It's also from about here to here. It's contacting this e-brake. And once we have our lines, then we could cut the cardboard and test fit it. So check it out. It's really gonna be this simple. We have that bolt hole in the front, which is gonna mount the front in. Then we have this nice stretch here. And then we have these 2 bolt holes in the rear, here and here, which is gonna mount this part in. And then we have a little cutout here for our e-brake so it doesn't get in the way. And then finally, our hydro is gonna be mounted right about here. We'll test fit it once we get the center console back in, but I think for now we could go and cut our metal. Okay, we'll put the cardboard down and trace where we need to cut this to length, as well as the parking brake cutout. Now grab your safety glasses and let's clamp this in the vise, which by the way was given to me by a subscriber. How cool is that? Then, anytime you cut the metal, it's good to oil it up, which increases the life of the metal cutting blade. And with that cut off, we'll do the same thing for the parking brake cutout. So to cut a rectangle, we're gonna cut 2 lines and then a diagonal line and grind it flat. Now the blade fits sideways and we could cut the rest of the rectangle out. All right, with all our cuts done, let's go inside the car and test fit it. It's always fun to see how close we got on our first try, and that fits exactly how I was hoping. That cutout for the parking brake is perfect, so now let's see how it fits with the center console in place. And with our first test fit in place, we are running into a little bit of a clearance issue with the plastic piece right there. So I'm just gonna mark this area to cut. And then looking around in here, we also have a clearance issue right here. So I'm gonna mark that off so we know to cut there as well. So now we can take the center console out and let's trim it up. I'm using a rotary tool with a 120 grit wheel to sand away the plastic pieces that are contacting the metal bracket. And with that piece trimmed, let's trim the other spot as well. Take your time with this because once you remove material, you can't go back. Good, and that worked perfectly, and there are no sharp edges, so let's go and install the center console one more time. So our bracket fits nicely, there's plenty of clearance where we made our cuts. Now we could go and test our Hydro e-brake. Now we're gonna test fit it right here, but as you can see, it's pretty deep in there, so we're gonna have to find a way to raise it up to about there. And I have the perfect way to do that. A little bit of square stock right there, we could bolt it in. And I think that's gonna give us just the right height. We might need to make it a little bit taller, but that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna carefully remove the Hydro and mark the square metal piece so we know exactly where it mounts on the bracket. And then when we remove this, perfect, you could see the outline. So we know where this square piece is gonna fit. Next, let's figure out where the bolt holes to mount the front and rear of the bracket are gonna go. And to do that, let's once again remove the center console. And since we can't see where the bolt is over here and where the bolt is over there, how do you know where to accurately drill a hole? Well, what you do is you grab your paint marker, you remove your metal, and you go in and you put a nice thick glob of paint on the surface here. You want it to be really wet. And we're also gonna do the same thing on the other one. Get a nice thick glob of paint on here. And then you're gonna take your metal and you're gonna line it up, but don't touch the bolts because then the paint's gonna transfer. You wanna get it as close as you can to where it's supposed to sit. That looks good there. And then you can lower it down, apply some downward pressure, give it a wiggle. And then you wanna lift it straight up so it doesn't drag on those bolt heads. And check it out. We have our mark right there, and we have our other mark right there. It's a cool little trick, and as you can see, it worked awesome. So let's go drill these out. So when we were cutting the metal, we were using a special metal cutting blade designed specifically for, well, cutting metal. Now when we drill, you don't want to use something like a wood cutting bit because that's not going to work well. You're going to want to use a bit that's designed to drill through metal. In this case, I'm using a cobalt bit. Not only do these last longer, but they're going to drill through this metal a lot easier, so you're not going to struggle. So I have our 2 bolts out that we're drilling the holes for, and what you want to do is you want to find a bit that's going to drill a hole that's nice and tight. And what you do is you just line up the end of the bit and you make sure that you can't see any threads, and that looks good, and that looks good. So that's going to work. Let's go and drill this out. And before we go and just try to drill away, the next tip is to use one of these metal punches, because if you just start drilling on a flat piece of metal, your bit is going to skip around and you might not get dead center in that hole. And then if that's off, your other mark will be off and this isn't going to line up properly. So this is a spring-loaded metal punch, and what you do is you line it up right in the middle of your mark and you just push down until it clicks and you can hear that spring snap and push that point into the metal, creating an indentation. Now when you grab your drill and start drilling, the bit isn't going to skip around. It fits right in that hole. And another good tip is you don't want to crank up the speed all the way. You want to go relatively slow. The less heat you generate, the longer your bit's going to last. And we'll do the same exact thing on the other side as well. And perfect. Next, we want to mark the 2 holes to drill for our square stock. Then punch the center of each hole. Then drill each hole out so we could bolt down the square stock. And to figure out where we're going to drill these holes in this piece of metal is really simple. Just line it up, and then we're going to go underneath, and right where those bolt holes are, we're just going to mark it with our pen. Be careful not to move the metal, and perfect. Now we have the exact 2 spots we need to drill out. And let's see if it fits. Beautiful. Now we could add a washer, split washer, and then our nut. Same thing for the other bolt, and tighten down each bolt pretty tight so it doesn't budge. Good. And with these 2 bolts tightened down, now we need to figure out where we're going to bolt in the Hydro. And instead of taking any guesses, we should mount this back in the car with the center console in place. So let's go do that now. Alright, so we're getting really close to completing this mount. So all we have to do now is bolt in our Hydro. So we need to find where we're going to drill those bolt holes. So what I'm going to do here is there's 2 holes at the bottom of this. There's one here, there's one here. And I just need to mark those holes on my mount. So I'm going to get one of these black markers and we're going to carefully mark the back hole and the front hole. And then when we remove this, perfect. We have a mark there and a mark there, exactly where we need to drill. Now we could drill out both of those holes. And test fit the Hydro. Yes, that fits perfect. Now we want to paint this because it's raw steel and I don't want any rust. So spray it down with some soapy water, scuff it up with some sandpaper, in this case 400 grit, then clean the metal off with some alcohol and let's get painting. I'm using a black primer for the first coat, and you want to always start off with thin coats. Then I'm finishing off with a black bumper paint that has a medium gloss finish and it's really durable. And as we wait for our mount to dry, one thing we need to do is take apart our hydro e-brake. The problem is this really long handle isn't going to fit when we put that center console in. So first we're going to remove the top lever bolt, then remove the bottom lever bolt, and the lever comes right off. Next we want to remove the top and bottom bolts holding in the master cylinder, and that slides right out. And another thing we could do while we're waiting for our bracket to dry, grab the center console, and let's drill a hole for our grommet and brake line so we can run the brake line out of the back of the center console. So I'm thinking a hole right down there will be good, which is right about there. Then start with a small drill bit to get a pilot hole, and move up to our monster 1/2-inch drill bit that fits the 1/2-inch grommet. Next, push the grommet over the brake hose, and slide the brake hose into the console and push the grommet in place. Awesome, that looks good. Now let's get our hydro mount. So that's looking pretty good. It came out nice, has a little gloss finish to it. Now we're gonna mount our hydro bracket onto our mount, and we're gonna be adding some spacers between the hydro mount just so that we could get a little bit more lift. So it sits a little higher on our center console, and we could add our bolts. Now let's add a washer, split washer, nut, and tighten it down. Do the same thing for the other bolt and tighten that one down as well. And check it out, that is all ready to go. So now let's go get this into the drift stang and mount our e-brake. And since we have this piece of metal here that wasn't normally there, and we have our electrical harness right here, although it's wrapped, I'm gonna add just a little bit extra protection with this plastic wire loom shield. And that's just to make sure our wires don't get cut up and shorted out against this metal edge right over here. With that done, now we can bolt in the rear and bolt in the front so it's nice and tight. And with both the bolts in, let's go test this out just to see how strong it is. Oh man, that's not budging at all. So that 3/16 of an inch steel is perfect for a nice solid mount with just 2 bolts. I thought I was gonna need 3, 2 work perfect. Now, let's get our hydro in here, then we could run our brake lines, and then we could go and test it out on the track and see if we could lock up those rear wheels. Man, this is exciting. And with the center console in place, this fits very nicely. It's exactly where we want it. The only thing is we have this big opening right here, which it really just doesn't look good. Now I know you're probably thinking, hey, it's a drift car, it's not a big deal, but I like things to look good and I like to finish the project to the best of my ability. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna get this cup holder that normally sits inside here, and I'm gonna cut it out around the hydro so it gives it a nice finish. So let's go do that now. I'm using a rotary tool with a sanding drum to cut the bottom of the cup holder out, just like that. Now test fit it, and we need to remove the other bottom cup holder as well. And we're definitely getting closer, but it does look like we need to cut a lot off on this side. And after a little bit of trimming, I think this is looking pretty good. So let's see if it'll fit in place. Man, oh man, does that look good. Got a little cutout for the bolt in here. I think it's gonna clear the hydro. We have to test that once we get it installed completely, but that looks so much better than it did. Look at this, woo! Now, let's get the rest of the hydraulic e-brake installed. Installation is the opposite of taking it apart. Start with tightening down the 2 bolts that attach the master cylinder, then tighten down the lower bolt for the handle, and finally the top bolt for the handle. Beautiful, this looks so good. Oh man, I cannot wait. Now we can put the center console together, starting with the 2 front Torx bolts. Then the shifter boot just snaps into place. We could tighten down our shift knob. Good, and then there are 2 final bolts in the rear compartment that need to be tightened down. And then the storage bin snaps right in. So with everything in place and bolted down, now we're gonna run our brake line. Originally, I was gonna have the brake line come out of the e-brake location over here and then hook up right to our hydro. But instead, what I'm gonna do is run it right from the cup holder and connect it to the hydro just like that. And after it's snug, just give it a little bit of an extra turn, and that is plenty tight. So our brake line is running down through here, through the center console, out of our back grommet, and then out to the middle right here. So let's attach the hydro brake line to the T-adapter and snug it down with a wrench. Then attach driver's side and passenger side brake lines and snug both of them down with a wrench as well. So now we have one brake line going that way to that wheel and the other brake line going that way to that wheel. And what I want to do is right here, there's a good mounting point. So let's pop that panel clip out. And we're going to secure our brake line using one of these rubber coated clips. So that'll go in right here. And with our brake line mounted, now we could go run each brake line through our rubber grommet right here. So I'm going to grab a razor and cut a little slit into the grommet. And that's going to allow us to run the brake line through the grommet just like that. Next, we could push the grommet back into its place And then run the brake line down and out to the brake caliper. At the caliper, let's remove the dust plug. Then we have our brake line adapter and crush washer. And you want the crush washer to sandwich between the brake caliper and the adapter. Tighten that up and snug it down so the washer gets crushed and makes a tight seal. And finally, thread the brake line onto the adapter and snug it up. And I'm going to add this plastic loom to protect the brake lines from stuff getting kicked up on the track. And with our brake line connected to our caliper and it's protected, there's one more thing we want to do. Because we're going to have a wheel and the wheel's going to come close to this right here, we want to follow the stock e-brake routing, and we're going to bend this back just like that. I'm using 2 high-strength zip ties to hold the brake line in place on the lower control arm. Now let's test fit the wheel to make sure the brake line doesn't hit the wheel. Good, there's plenty of room between the wheel and the brake line. And that is all it takes to run some brake lines to the dual caliper setup in the rear. We test fitted everything, it all fits, it all looks good. So you're gonna do it on that side, but you're also gonna have to do it on the other side, which I've already done. It's the same exact process, I just wanted to save some time in the video, and it all looks excellent. Now we need to go and bleed the brakes, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. That's probably the most difficult part of this whole process. And bleeding a hydraulic e-brake is very similar to bleeding the brakes on your car, where you pump the brakes with your foot, but instead of with your foot, you're pulling this lever and pumping them with your arm. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get .4 or .3 brake fluid. This was sent in by a subscriber, which is awesome, contributing to the build, and we're gonna want to fill this reservoir up to the top. And with the brake reservoir filled up on our hydro, we could come out here and we're gonna bleed the brakes. I have one of these one-person vacuum bleeders. These things are really helpful, especially when you're by yourself. I just started using this. I'll link it in the description. This is an awesome tool to have. So let me show you how it works. So you can hear this thing has suction. So connect it to the bleeder valve and crack the valve open. Then I'm gonna pump it up to get even more suction. So now this whole container has a vacuum, and that vacuum is gonna be sucking all the air out of our brake lines. And it'll pull all that brand new brake fluid into our caliper. So let's go and pump the brakes. And we want to be sure to have our brake fluid ready because this master cylinder is tiny, so our brake fluid is going to empty quickly. Now you're going to pull the e-brake lever at a medium pace, back and forth, to force the brake fluid into the brake lines and push all that air out. As the fluid gets low, fill it up and keep pumping. The idea is to have a constant stream of brake fluid to force all the air out of the brake lines. And once that brake fluid starts slowing down, it isn't getting sucked in as much, that means that our brake line that we're running on this side is pretty much filled with brake fluid. There's still plenty of suction, so all we have to do is just tighten up this bleeder valve. And because there's always suction on this, it really does a great job at removing all the air and not letting any get into the brake lines. So now we want to do the other side. And the other side is the same exact process. Crack the bleeder valve, attach the vacuum hose, and pump the air out of the container. Then pump the brakes and make sure your fluid stays topped off. A little trick is vibrating the e-brake to help loosen up any bubbles that might get trapped, since this is the highest point of the braking system. And just pump the brakes until it gets hard to pull back on the lever just like that. This means all the air is out of the system. So we could tighten up that bleeder valve and remove the vacuum line. And we are done bleeding the brakes. Now let's top off the brake reservoir to about 3/4 of the way full. Good. Then tighten up that cap, and we are done. So you can really see how helpful that one-person bleeder is. If you don't want to get one of those, you could always make that one-person bleeder that I showed you how to make with a water bottle and a hose. And in total, we use just under 2 liters of brake fluid. Those hydros are known to get air trapped in them, so you definitely want to get a bunch of brake fluid and make sure you bleed it well. Just a couple of quick tips and tricks if you can't get all the air out. So if your hydro isn't hard like this, then one thing you could do is unbolt this and flip it upside down and let the air go to the top, and then slowly rotate it and then put it back in. That'll get the air to the top of the reservoir, and it'll remove it from the tallest point, which is right there. The other thing is you saw me banging on it, and also it's a good idea to wiggle all the hoses, and if you haven't checked, you want to make sure that there's no leaking at your connections, and that looks good. So we are good to go. All right, let's go get the car on the ground and test this out. All right, will the brakes lock up in a straight line? Yes, that is awesome. That locked up so easy. Man, let's try that again. That was so good. Holy smokes, that dual caliper setup is so nice. This is working perfect. I'm loving it, and I could not be happier with how this turned out. And that worked beautifully. You saw how those tires locked up. We tested it out a few times. I really need to take it to the track and test it out for real. But we know it works. The hydro locks that caliper, which locks the tire, and that is everything you need to know on how to install a hydraulic e-brake. As always, hopefully the video was helpful. If it was, remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. We're gonna be installing racing seats, and we're gonna lower this car and get some coilovers on it because there's way too much body roll and it's way too high. The center of gravity is too high. So stay tuned for that. A lot of cool things coming up.